So today we're going to talk about something that typically when I speak about it becomes controversial depending on who we're speaking to. And in this regard, it is talking about what sellers should be disclosing. Now, the simple rule of fact is as a seller in a real estate transaction, it's always disclose, disclose, disclose. If you're not sure, disclose. But California definitely has certain guidelines of what needs to be disclosed and what doesn't. So we're going to dive into a little bit about the psychology of disclosure and what that means to a buyer and your transaction. The first thing that we should talk about is that as a seller, if you over disclose, you are likely going to build trust with the buyer to where they feel you are being more transparent and you're not hiding anything. And that is what we want. Now, your agent should be able to help guide you in this, like when you have questions. Do we need to tell them that we replaced the faucet in the master bathroom 3 years ago? Hypothetically, no. Unless it was replaced because it caused a water leak under the sink. Even if it didn't damage drywall or cause damage, let's just say like my master bathroom tub a couple years ago, the filler faucet started leaking. And in my case, it started leaking internally through the downstairs family room ceiling, which one morning waking up, the entire family room was covered in water and all my bookshelves were damaged with water and the ceiling fell in. Well, that's going to have to be disclosed, even though it was repaired correctly, there wasn't mold, but that's something that has to be disclosed. So if we disclose more, we have a less likelihood that a buyer is going to feel we're hiding something. Sellers who are not aware, because let's face it, if you've lived in the house a long time, there are certain things you get used to, like, I don't know, maybe you have to clean out a bathroom sink once a month with Drano or something, simply because the drain gets slow. If you disclose this up front, the buyer is going to feel that you're being very forthcoming. And while you and I may not see that as a big deal and it's just part of regular maintenance on a house, if it's not disclosed and a buyer discovers it when they first move in, and let's say the first while they live in the home, and it becomes a reoccurring problem for them that they didn't know about, they're going to find that that slow drain every month that needs a simple bottle of drain cleaner poured down it is a bigger deal than it really is. And that might make them contact their agent and start asking the agent to contact the listing agent to get a hold of the previous seller, previous owner, and do something about it, because now they feel they were hoodwinked. Why didn't you tell us there was a recurring problem? So it's very, very, very simple to say that undisclosed problems, including maintenance on a house, become a bigger deal when they're undisclosed to a buyer than if they were disclosed and talked about up front. In regards to negotiating an offer to an accepted offer to an open escrow to where we've received deposit, we start the process, you will find that the most open transparency and truthfully on both sides and help speed up the process of both parties being able to come together to a mutual benefit and agreed upon terms, no matter who's disclosing what. When the buyer has issues they need to disclose about their income or the loan, or the lender is upfront and transparent of, it looks like we're going to need another 15 days. If the seller knows that beforehand, we can set up the transaction to where nobody's mad and negotiating out of spite or revenge. And that is what we want to avoid. The same is true with defects or recurring maintenance on a home. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, disclosing when somebody has passed away on or in the property. California law states that a seller only has to disclose a death in the property within the 3 years that it happened. So realistically, 3 years and 1 day, they're no longer legally obligated to disclose that somebody died in the property. And while that's legal in the court, on the paperwork with the DRE, with the Board of Realtors, that may not be the best way to handle the transaction. Here's why. Let's say, unfortunately, a family member or somebody passed away in the home, and let's say it was 6 years ago. You're not legally obligated to disclose it, but don't you think that the new owners are going to find out about this at some point? I want you to imagine a buyer buying the home and finding out that the sellers have had, let's say, Rockwell Pest Solutions come and spray for ants and spiders every month for the last 6 years because during the summer, there's often an infestation of ants in the yards that sometimes get in the house. They've disclosed that there was a roof leak, but the drywall was repaired, the roof was repaired. They disclose that there's recurring maintenance on the drains, but they don't disclose that their mother-in-law passed away from natural causes in the home 6 years ago. Do you think there's a good chance that that new owner, the buyer, is going to be taking out the trash cans or maybe doing gardening in the front yard, and at some point a neighbor who has lived in the neighborhood and knows what's gone on is going to say, "It's so nice to meet you. I'm so glad you moved to the neighborhood. It was a shame about what happened to Bill's mother-in-law, isn't it? I mean, oh, it was terrible watching. She was sick for so long, and I'm glad she passed away peacefully in your home, surrounded by her loved ones." And in some regards, that's beautiful. I mean, God, we can only hope to be so lucky that we pass away peacefully, surrounded by everybody who loves us and that we love. But all of a sudden, well, why didn't they disclose that? They call their agent. Agent says, well, they're not legally obligated to. Well, maybe if we told them up front that 6 years ago, a family member passed away in the home of natural causes, it wouldn't be a surprise and they wouldn't feel angry about it after the fact. Let's always approach these things with more disclosure up front. That helps prevent deals from falling out in the first place, and that also prevents negative feelings from the buyer once they own the home and are homeowners for a while, wanting to go after the seller for non-disclosure. Really simple.